So I figured I need to bump up my social credit score a bit. So today we are playing as the Great Qing and going for one of the harder achievements in the game, that being the Western Protectorate. Starting as the Great Qing, have a treaty port in France, Germany, the British Isles, Iberia, and Italy. Try to combine this with the hegemony gold. Let's just get right into this. Usually, I would start by investing into my industry here rather than my military, but I think that the military has to come first in this case because we have to be able to beat Britain quite early on. We'll go with a pretty standard opening in terms of early taxes and basically try to squeeze as much as we can out of our population. I'll do one thing that some people might not like me doing, and that is telling the Brits to fuck off and not import opium to my populace, because you can see that they start with a trade route exporting it to me. And then I will massively increase the extent of my construction sector. So get some going in Beijing, maybe some in Nanjing. I will definitely need some in, or I don't definitely need it anywhere, I suppose, but you know, it will be nice to have it. And this is basically the bare minimum of a setup. And I will try to expand iron mines after this. So, like, Southern Manchuria is a great place for it. Try to not go over the infrastructure gap. I can't easily add it yet. And yeah, that is our base setup, with one exception, which is that we need to get those guys into government and start to abolish not censorship just yet, but serfdom. And with that, I think we are ready to go. Another thing to quickly mention is that you can, at the very start, swap your logging camps to sawmills and yeah, create some demand for tools. We've now gotten the Opium Crisis event. However, we will choose this option. We have to do something, but we'll not do it quite yet because all these modifiers are terrible. As we'll try to delay that a little bit. Just let it sit there. The Brits have started embargoing us too now, and now we are at the last day of this, so we have to take this, sadly. And no luck in abolishing serfdom so far. We will go with the more costly option for a state here because we do not want to lower our standard of living anymore, and we definitely want to get serfdom abolished. And by the way, because of our financial hostilities, the Brits cancelled their export route for opium to our market. So the British have started a diplomatic play against us. This is a little bit earlier than I had hoped for, but yeah, we will try to make the best out of it and yeah, demand our recognition. So I'm going to go for a partial mobilization here, and mobilize specifically the generals that are best at actually defending each area, and try to just, you know, play it defensively at the start, and then try to modernize the armies of some of the others. Though I will maybe mobilize this guy as well, so that I can try to go for a couple, you know, cheeky invasions. Yeah, and we actually did get rid of serfdom now. And I think that, given the current situation, we will just go straight over here and try to enact professional army and reform our government to this probably. They are very loyal regardless. Maybe this then. Another thing I will do is that I'll go over to market and I will not paper but grain to encourage exports so that our yeah, so that we get corn laws and we can use that to change our economic law from traditionalism. Yeah, and now this war has started. We did not end up going for any other objectives than just recognition. I would have done that if I had actually had time to modernize my army first, but yeah, that will be for the next war instead then. This guy here is an experienced naval commander, so I think there is a fairly high chance actually we can pull off this. Yeah, so we use this general here as well. That is pretty decent offensive guy. And yeah, we will try to take Gambia. So let's see how this goes. Also very lucky, I got the Modern Conservative event from Conlos, which means that um, our scholar officials landlords will now support this law change. I'll actually go for interventionism here, because we will build a lot of our own agriculture. Let's see now if this invasion comes true, and it seems like it does. Yeah, so we have secured Gambia. However, we also have some issues to deal with on our own because, yeah, this landing attempt seems to be successful. Now, however, we will try to cheese this and just, rush down this before the Brits actually have the time to arrive here. Let's see if that works out. And it does. Okay, yep. And I think we, regardless of, our success so far, actually keep going for the modernization of the army. You can see at this point that the Brits are losing way more war support than we are, and they can also go below zero, and we cannot at the current time being. And we actually won a naval battle against Britain here. So my mic screwed up a bit, but we did pass interventionism, and with that we can go here and ban the opium trade. Now Britain has reached negative war support. Here we have an event that you might not have seen because it's not so common to actually embargo them. But yeah, they are smuggling opium into China, and of course we can have none of that. I'm also trying to pass professional army now, getting the rural folk and armed forces into the government. We will see if this works out. I'm not so sure it actually will, sadly. It also seems like Britain took back Gambia, so yeah, we are going to take it once again. And once again, our invasion of Gambia is successful. Yeah, and we were not lucky with the events for enacting professional armies, so we are giving this up. And I think that we'll try to modernize our laws a little bit, like liberalize a bit instead in that case. So we get literati in and try to enact the right of assembly instead. I'm honestly shocked we are so consistently beating the Britons at sea. And at minus 91.5% war support, Britain has decided to recognize the Great Qing as a great power because of their incredible ability to occupy Gambia. And there we have it. We are now the third greatest power in the world, 2 years, or yeah, almost 3 years into the game. So now we turn our eyes to modernizing our country, and that means we will have to focus on research. So we will have to build 10 universities in Shanghai, 5 in Beijing, and say, 5 in Fujian as well, I guess. Yeah, that went way smoother than expected. So right assembly passed on the first try. And with that, we now are rid of our malices to tech spread. And we now have line infantry. And we will switch right over to that. So we have an army that can be used, that is somewhat modern as soon as possible. Yeah, now I think we will focus a bit more on actually industrializing. These techs are good as well, of course, but I think we focus on industry first. At this point, I think we are in a fairly good spot to prevent the Heavenly Kingdom from ever spawning, but just to make sure, we will try to pass migration controls so that Protestants can't move around in the country. So from having established a university in Shanghai now, we have this event, higher learning. I'm a bit unsure what's best here, but I think I'm actually going for this one. So we finished an industrial tech, we have updated our buildings, they use more tools now, and we are continuing down the industrial path here. Yeah, I have also changed my declared interests to make it very clear what my intentions are here. By the way, I also changed to this tech instead. I think it is better to get our iron mines going. And we have migration controls. So I think at this point we give passing professional army a second shot. And we now have atmospheric engine, and with that we can massively increase our iron production. And with that we can also swap more of our construction sectors over to using iron. Free trade might be better in this campaign, but for now I'll try to switch to protectionism. And protectionism passes. And we now have mechanical tools, which allows us to save a lot of iron and produce more tools. And with that, we are going for railways. I should probably also have done this a while ago, but I will start building some government administration as well. We're starting to get kind of close to finishing this Opium Crisis journal entry. And there we have it. The end of addiction. For this one, I will go ahead and select this option to increase the minimum wealth of our population. I forgot to do this right away, but of course we can stop banning opium now. And at long last we have railways. I also think we go straight to water tube boiler here. Now we will try to beat out the West for the first time in army tech and go for skirmish infantry. Now we have a movement to enact professional armies, so we will try to go for it for a third time. Britain has started to play against Vietnam. I will at the very least indicate that I sided with Vietnam here. Fuck it, I'll go for it. It seems this will actually result in a war, but I'm pretty confident we will win it. Britain declared us a rival and we returned the favor. A professional army actually passes this time. We have skirmish infantry, but of course we can't swap to it before this war is over. We will go straight for triage, or however that's pronounced. I'm gonna see if we are able to actually land in Britain, if we try. Oh, where is... Yeah, there. And we have a naval battle for Britain here, which we actually win. Wow, we are making incredibly rapid progress here. If we send a general over, then this just ends the war, I think. Now, this is a really disgusting peace treaty here, and I think we keep going with the army tax. Now, although this invasion was not, like, completely successful, it's still, you know, some valuable lessons learned from when we do this to acquire a port in the future. And there we have it, Britain capitulated. By the way, we are actually the greatest power in the world now. We'll also try to complete this journal entry and produce some arts academies. I think I'll go with the traditional capital of Nanjing here. I've queued up a lot of government administrations, so I'll try to actually go for guaranteed liberties now. And we are making progress, and we can now build ammunition plants, and we will also go for this so we can get chemical plants as well. I generally like to build military buildings in my capital so that a revolt will not get them. And having finished our arts academy, we can now advance through the text a little bit faster. It's probably also time we actually produce some opium of our own, since it's used military now. And it passes, perhaps even a little bit too early, because I have not quite finished all the government administrations. And the gold fields of Outer Manchuria have depleted, which apparently is unfortunate, when in reality this is amazing, because we can now build gold mines. And we have gotten the tech to go to standardized filing system, and that will help our taxation capacity a lot. And again, we can cash in some extra research. And finally, our industrialists are powerful enough that we may include them in our government. So we will go for schools. We cannot go for these ones, sadly, but we'll get to that eventually. And religious schools actually passed right away, so that is amazing. So now I think it's time that we start to use our army that actually has become quite decent to bully the Europeans a bit and start to take those treaty ports. I'm a bit unsure if we actually can get a functioning treaty port in Italy itself right now, so I'll try to go for Tuscany instead. Now it seems it is pretty likely that Tuscany will back down here, so I think that I will go for an early mobilization and just try to get that treaty port before any major power joins. And with that, we try to bully the European. This is a really strange event, but I think that we do gamble here. And it still seems like they will not back down, actually. So yeah, a war it is, apparently. So we will go for a naval invasion of Tuscany and use our new general Chen Shao, or however that's pronounced. And let's see if this naval invasion will be a success. Well, damn. That's not good. Actually struggling a bit to take down Tuscany because of this landing. Now we have gotten very good tech to give our economy a quick boost, so that's nice. Okay, so I think we might have the landing this time. I really hope so, at least. But we have tried quite a few times at this point and failed every single one of them. Yeah, no, it seems we got it at long last. Bam. Now that we actually have made the landing, then we will make very quick work of the Tuscans, I think. How do we compare to the Britons at this point? We are actually ahead. Okay, nice. And with this last battle, I think that we will completely occupy Tuscany. Yeah, and with that we should very soon have the recapitulation. They really did not want to give us this treaty port, so we had to go all the way to 100 negative war support. But yeah, at long last we actually do have our Italian treaty port here in Livorno. And we now have enough bureaucracy to increase our education level to 3rd level, which is the highest we can have for now. Okay, so I think the time has come to actually implement a police force here. And that passed really quickly. And I think we will actually implement this as well. So we have gotten this now, official nationality. All the options are underwhelming in their own way here, but I think I'm going with this one. We also need a bigger navy, and I'll try to modernize it as well. And we also have a bit of an electrification going on right now. Yeah, and as always, Jack the Ripper is everywhere, transcending space and time in Victoria Trip. We have ironclads, and now we will start to gear up for going back and actually taking the ports in Europe. Which one of these options do you prefer? I am a little bit unsure which one is best, actually. I will go with the safe option in this case. But he usually ends up getting caught, though. My infamy is kind of just sitting doing nothing so far, so I will make a puppet here. Russia joined, but that is honestly a good thing. Yeah, and maybe we'll take Afghanistan as well. And we seem to be ticking over 1 billion GDP now. That was anticlimactic. They ended up backing down. Our construction sector is humongous now. So let's see if we can get the Suez Canal. It seems we can get an alliance with Germany. And they accept. So first we'll try to take a treaty port in Bremen here, which is part of the Swedish market. So annoyingly, it does not seem to be possible for me to get a actual war with Britain because they just back down. So what I will do is that I'll declare war for Wales and have them back down, and then I can release Wales and then force a treaty port on Wales. And there we have it, they back down. So then we have to release Wales, so release subject Wales, but release as independent. There we go. And since we seem to struggle to actually get into war with Britain, I will not take Gibraltar as I had initially planned, but try to take a treaty port in Spain myself directly. I kind of expect them to back down here as well, but we will see how it turns out. Yeah, and this ended up going to war, actually. That's surprising. I think it might be time for us to implement a health system as well. And we have private health insurance. So we are trying to land in the Netherlands. I think we succeed here. Yeah. I think we are blitzing through it quite quickly now. Belgium falls as well. And now we have a treaty port in Spain. So time to get our treaty port in Wales. So Britain and France both joined Wales' side here, and they back down. So sadly, this is where the campaign will have to come to an end, and where this video will have to end, because with Brittany left to conquer and, well, treaty port left to take from Brittany, Yeah, there was an update, and the mods that I used for visuals and so on are not really functional anymore. So I can't really use the save that I had. So yeah, sadly it'll have to end here. But building a bit more of a navy and invading France, taking Brittany, and then taking a treaty port from them would have worked. I would maybe have got that achievement if I had a bit more time back then. But still, I have put a lot of effort into this video, so I will upload it anyways.